First of all, welcome to San Diego.
Thank you.
Thank you for showing the film here to all the students.
Yeah, we just drove down from LA, 3 hours. Woo! Yeah.
All right. So first of all, that footage at the end, that's not your footage, is it?
No, that's real footage. It's actually from 1990, but it really fit. I felt the story, and Jason and I have actually been making a documentary about this real scene. It's actually a real scene in San Francisco, Daly City, and I was like trying to find a script because I actually made this short film for a contest, for an HBO contest where they were looking for Asian American stories, and we had from the deadline of the contest to when we started, we had 6 weeks to make a short film. So I was like, okay, I gotta write something really quick. I was looking at all this footage, and then I saw that end footage where you see the girl DJ, and her name is DJ Symphony. She's playing, and that really like hit a chord for me because I'm a musician also. I'm a drummer. I'm not a DJ, but I saw that, and I was like, that's the spark for the whole film.
You made this in 6 weeks?
And Jason wants to add something.
Oh, yeah.
You made this in 6 weeks?
Yeah, from script to final post-production.
Wow.
Thank you. And funny enough, DJ Symphony at the end, the girl who's performing over the end title, that's the sister of the DJ who did all of our original cuts and scratches. So Icy Ice from the world-famous Beat Junkies.
Awesome.
He performed all the cuts, and we made about 7 original songs for the film.
When Jason says cuts and scratches, that means that when you see the brother DJing and the sister DJing, like that had to be designed by a real DJ, because of course they're actors, and and so DJ Icy Ice is the one who designed that stuff.
Yeah, pre-recorded, and then that was Marie actually singing on that last track. So Marie's also a singer.
Nice. So, I mean, given that it was only 6 weeks, how did you recreate the 80s? I mean, you had to find all the props and locations.
You want me to talk about it?
Jason's the production designer, so he should talk.
So we got really lucky with the house. It belongs to Marie's aunt and uncle, actually, and it's in Highland Park. So we set the film in Daly City because that's where this real moment in hip-hop with these Filipino kids that grew up in the 80s and 90s, where they kind of innovated turntablism. A lot of guys that came out of that scene were like Mixmaster Mike of the Beastie Boys and DJ Qbert. All these Filipino kids grew up in this neighborhood, and they became world-famous DJs. So we set it in Daly City, and we had some of the exterior footage was all shot there, and that was what we've been shooting for our documentary. We just kind of appropriated that footage. But the house itself was in Highland Park, Los Angeles. And Marie's aunt and uncle, I think, bought the house in like 78. They renovated in 82, and like nothing changed. So, and I don't know if you guys know any Filipino people, but when they're older, they don't, or I guess all Filipinos, they don't throw anything away. So their garage was filled, like the garage where we filmed everything was filled from floor to ceiling, wall to wall, front to back with just stuff. And we ended up renting like a moving truck, ejecting everything from the garage, and we kind of found knickknacks and different things, and we were like, all right, let's bring that to the kitchen, let's bring this to the living room, let's decorate the garage with this stuff, and so that was kind of how we did it.
But my uncle, I didn't find this out till we were shooting, he was a DJ also, so like that disco ball and all the lights in the garage belonged to him. But we couldn't see it because it was covered in junk. And then, in box up. But what we said was like, "Hey, Uncle, we want to shoot in your house, and we'll clean your garage." And then when we did clean the garage and we fixed everything, he was like, "I can buy more stuff now."
And then Marie also was very meticulous about the costumes. So that's like Marie and our costume designer they went thrift shopping and they found amazing stuff.
Yeah, because when you have no money, you have to be you have to be really resourceful. So we had like, $300, and me and a girlfriend of mine, and she's not even a costume designer, she's just a girl who loves clothes. And she grew up in San Francisco, she understood the time, and she's just stylish. So we just went to a street full of thrift shops, spent the afternoon, and then we didn't even have actors. So we didn't know the sizes of the actors, so we just bought like clothes like maybe this will fit him, and then that's how we did the clothes.
Find the actors to fit the clothes.
And we found, yeah.
I would love to hear some questions. Any questions from the audience? Anybody want to watch? Yeah, right here.
First of all, really great short film, but just one question. How exactly did you come up with the perfect title for the perfect film? Flip the record.
That's actually a great question, because when we started shooting it, that was not the title. It was a really bad title, and we knew it was it wasn't gonna be the title of the film. We were like, okay, let's just name it something because we only had 6 weeks. So it was initially called, and don't ever like publish this because I'm so embarrassed about this title. Oh, it's fine. It was called Turn the Tables. And so we knew it was like on the nose. We knew it sucked. And we're like, you know what, when we edit it, we'll think of something. And then Jason and I were talking. Okay, go ahead.
It wasn't until our other producer, his daughter is like, I think she was 8 at the time, and she watched it and she goes, "Turn the Tables is a terrible title, Dad." And we were like, okay, we knew that too. But when an 8-year-old says your title's bad, we knew we had to change it. And then, I mean, I don't know if y'all are familiar with like flip being a derogatory for Filipinos. This is a young audience, so I'll abbreviate, but it's effing little island person. And so.
And it was a title that some U.S. soldiers came up with the Filipinos when they had the army bases in the Philippines. And so for the longest time, it was like a derogatory term, but we wanted to flip that, you know, with the short and kind of take it back and do it and then use it, appropriate it for like in an empowering way.
What was that blue thing that she put under the record?
When in the 80s, there was when DJs realized that they wanted to like scratch, that's actually what turntables should not do. You don't want the record to skip. So record players had this thing that prevented the record from moving. So what these DJs did was they realized when they had plastic and they put like an old t-shirt, it would have this kind of a slippery surface with still some friction, and they could move the record. So it's called a slip mat. And now they sell them as butter rugs. They're called butter rugs. But in the 80s, that didn't exist. So when we were interviewing all these DJs for this documentary, they were telling us, oh, you know, this is what I used to do when we were kids and we had no money. And so that's what she made. She made that.
I just want to know how long you guys have been filmmakers for.
So I just moved to the States 4 years ago from Manila, Philippines. But in Manila, yeah, Pinoy. But in the Philippines, I was a music video director for around 15 years. So don't do the math. So I've been making, and then in the Philippines, I also was a commercial director and I did some TV as well. But this is my first narrative in America since I went to film school.
And my background is in animation, so I do stop motion animation predominantly, but I produce for Marie as well, and I shoot for documentary. And I've been probably working professionally for around 10 years.
And you did something with the Lego movie? Was that
Oh, no.
No.
Lego's a client of ours. We do a web series for Lego.
Oh, got it.
It's called The Build Zone on YouTube if you like Lego.
Gotta get that Lego money. All right. Any other questions? What'd you guys shoot on?
It was, so our cinematographer brought his own camera package, and it was a red, I think I want to say dragon, epic dragon. Yeah.
And then for the handheld, like the old footage.
Yeah, that was.
So we wanted to match the footage in the ending. So we wanted to shoot on Betacam, but that camera actually didn't work. Okay. So it didn't really work.
It does. That camera in the film does work. We just couldn't affordably transfer Betacam. It would have cost a lot. So we shot on high 8, and Marie actually was the camera operator for all that footage.
Yeah. Cool. For some of it. I was the camera operator for some of it because the actress is taller than me. So I can't, she has to be a little higher, yeah.
What other films have you guys done?
I made a feature film around 4 years ago. It was called What Isn't There, but it's not online. So but that's the only other film I've done. I'm really a music video director. And I have a YouTube channel if you are interested, and a Vimeo channel. So just Marie Jamora, just put that in. Marie, M-A-R-I-E, Jamora, Jamora. But on YouTube, I think it's Marie Jambots.
How did you find the cast for the film?
Oh, I'll start, and then. So because we had such a limited time and limited budget, our other producer, Matt, he knew a casting director who was willing to help us out pro bono. So she was like working for free, and we wanted to be very authentic with the casting. We wanted everyone to be 100 or like Filipino, and the casting director sent us a lot of people, and we're like, all right, these are all Korean and Chinese and Japanese, and like none of these are Filipino people. So Marie put out a Facebook call, and we ended up finding like 7 out of 8 of our cast. 6 out of 7 of our cast via Facebook. It just kind of like the post went pretty viral. A lot of Marie's actor friends passed it around, and we ended up bringing in the one actor who played Noel. He flew in from New York. He was studying at NYU, studying music at NYU, and he just performed as the young prince in The King and I on Broadway. And then 2 of our actors, one came from Northern California, one came from San Jose, the other from San Francisco. And do you have anything to add about that?
Yeah, so like when you have no money and obviously I just moved to the United States, so I don't have all these connections. Facebook was really a valuable resource because sometimes, like even the car at the end, obviously, like if you want to rent a car from Hollywood, it's $300, and that's not even bringing the car to the location and all that stuff. So I put out a post on Facebook, and I'm like, I'm looking for an 80s car. And then within an hour, a girl I had met at a panel, she was like, yeah, take my car, it's fine. Like, I believe in your project. And I barely knew her. And she was like, I live like a couple blocks away from your location. She gave us the keys. She's like, oh, just drive the car back to my house. And I was like, wow. So it's amazing the kind of community effort, because when they realize you're doing something and it comes from the heart and it's a story they haven't seen before, they really like rally up and help you for free.
What was the most difficult part making the film?
You can answer yours and I'll answer mine. For me, it was really time, because with 6 weeks, you guys know how short that is. Like, I had to edit it and everything in like 4 days. And of course, I can't hire somebody, because if you have no money, you have to do it yourself. And you also have no time, because usually if you have no money, you have to give someone more time if you want it cheap. But, and yeah, if you want it to be good. But if you want it good and cheap and you have no time, that's like impossible. So you just have to do it yourself. So I think having to be in charge of editing was very, very tricky for me, because I usually like showing it to people and getting their reactions, and from that making it better. So I would say, and of course, having no money also.
Yeah, budget aside, I think really the biggest cost of making a movie is energy. It's your creative energy, your physical energy, and for me the hardest part was lack of time on set. We only had 2 days to shoot everything, and that kind of, that had some problems chasing into the post-production, which probably complicated things for Marie in the edit, because we lacked coverage on certain things. But I think Marie did a really amazing job with our assistant director, kind of cutting down and getting to the essence of like, okay, what's the bare number of shots we can do this scene with? So just the stress of on set having 2 days to shoot what we probably should have taken 3 or 4 days to do.
I want to add to that, because Jason reminded me of something. In the Philippines, you can shoot 24 hours, and there's no unions. So I'm used to shooting a long day, sometimes 30 hours, being in Los Angeles, obviously you have actors who are union, and we had 12 hours. So I had a shot list that could have been shot in maybe 20 hours, and I had to whittle it down to 12. So that was very challenging for me.
It was a learning experience.
How'd you guys meet?
So Marie and I, we're creative partners. We're also engaged to be married. So we are also, yeah. And thank you. But we met at the Slam Dance Film Festival in Park City, Utah in 2013, January 2013. Marie had her first feature film there, and I was there with an animated film that I had made, and we kind of hit it off. I dug the music in her movie, and we got talking, and then things went from there.
Did you end up making any money off of the film?
That's a good question. We spent a lot to make the film, like not a lot in terms of what it probably should have cost. Like a lot of people gave us their time, and we didn't have to pay for the location or the car. So it's a much more expensive movie than what we had to pay for it. So we're far from breaking even, but we did win a grand jury prize at the Urban World Film Festival, which is like a premier urban festival in New York City. It's HBO, and that had a cash prize of about $5,000. So that helped us recoup some of the costs of making the movie. We've had some offers since then because that was also an Academy qualifying festival win. Oh, yeah. So Marie just told me to explain what that means. I guess there are certain festivals that are Academy qualifying, and that means that you are then eligible to be in consideration for an Academy Award for the short film category. So, or for an Oscar. Thank you. And so after that, we've been given some offers for distribution, and not sure if it will make like a ton of money, but hopefully we'll be able to break even.
Usually with short films, you make them knowing you'll never make money. But what's great about now, like compared to let's say 10 years ago, is that there are like television channels that like to show short films. There are, PBS, like they're looking for short films, whether it be documentary or narrative shorts. So there is actually a possibility of making money off short films these days, which is great. We didn't expect that.
I just wanted to add something about the films that we watched before this. Like, amazing work, all of you filmmakers. And I have to say, I wanted to ask a question before it ran out of time, but I think you should all be submitting to film festivals. Like, you're all worthy, and it's a good way to get exposure. And we would have never gotten the opportunity to even make any bit of money on our film if we didn't like spend the money to put it out there. So.
Yes, definitely. I think we program for film festivals, and I've seen, and your work was very strong and powerful than other filmmakers who are like out of college or film school. So I think you guys should start early, and it's amazing. You have a leg up. You're starting so early. So yeah, we totally think you guys should submit.
Thank you. That's very, very nice of you. And thank you for being here. So give it up again for Marie and Jason.